Welcome, y'all. This is the Life Unfiltered podcast show.
Wow, you
with
just went right in. We just went right in. Like there was no warm up. There was no take me out on a date. Like you just
well, sometimes you just gotta slide right in there. You don't got time for the whining and dining. You just gotta get
apparently
right into the.
apparently.
Anyway, welcome to the Life Unfiltered podcast show. I'm Justin DeWeese. That's my overly particular, beautiful wife, Ashley DeWeese, and we're your wonderful hosts. How are y'all today? How are you today, beautiful?
This is 2 weeks in a row that you were like, "How are y'all today?" And I'm like, "There's just one of me."
No, there's listeners.
Well, there
There's
is,
thousands
but
upon
like you
thousands of people
don't.
listening to this. And I want them to feel like they're part of the process.
Well, okay, you're just
They're
doing
our
a bang.
lifers, you know?
You're doing a bang up job between
I like banging. What
my.
can I say?
You do. Between my being impatient and waiting for you to get on so we could record this and listening to the dog chomp on its food, this is just amazing. It's serving itself up to be
Well,
a super
that's why I
awesome.
introduced you as overly particular.
I am a little particular and I'm fine with it.
Well, good. I'm glad one of us is.
I'm glad.
But anyway, if y'all are regular, is it okay if I talk to them now?
Oh my gosh, just go.
If y'all are regular listeners, then last week she got a little antsy in her pantsy because I didn't show up with topics.
Yeah, but again, we had a really great
No, we
show
did.
that I
We
have
did.
gotten
We did.
feedback from that has been very helpful to a lot of
No, I
people.
know. I know. Listen, I wasn't saying that was a bad thing. I was just segueing in to where we're going. So I took
Okay.
that feedback. She took that feedback and grew. I took that feedback and grew. And guess what? This handsome son of a gun got a topic for this week. Didn't even need to
Humble
be
too.
prompted. Just showed up, said, "Hey, guess what? I got something we can talk about unless you got a topic." And she's like, "Well, I got nothing." And you know what?
That is
I'm not
not
even
what
gonna
I
touch that
said.
one.
I just said, okay. So I don't even know what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, we knew what you meant.
I did have some ideas, by the way. I just wanted to see, well, let's roll with it. What do you
Right.
got?
Anyway, what I got, and you know, between you and me, beautiful. I'm not talking to you, beautiful lifers anymore. I'm just talking to my beautiful wife. We've had a conversation around this many times. But like you said, in the midst of some of those conversations, while we're on our walks or laying in that
Wait,
post-coital bliss,
who says coital? Like,
people do.
secondly, just did you mean we've had this conversation on this show or you and I have had this conversation?
You and I.
Okay.
That thumbs up on that one, I guess. So, but like we've said on those talks and whatnot, that like, oh man, I wish we had a microphone so we could have shared all this wisdom with all the people that need to get it. So,
Yeah.
hey,
Here we
here we
go.
are.
Okay.
So anyway,
Hit me with it.
I came across this past weekend because Dax had soccer tryouts, and so I was listening to things as I was walking while he was working in the heat. Um, of
Sorry, my
three,
hair.
yeah,
My
you
hair's really
good?
ratty. It's like multiple days. I'm doing the whole summer thing, pool, dry
Right.
shampoo, and it's a little. I was trying to make it
Might
look
be
a little
time for a
better.
wash.
It might be, but maybe not. We could probably go a couple more days.
Anyway, I came across three core beliefs that you have to hold in order to make change in your life and for that change to be lasting and not just sort of like a spur of the moment. Oh, I'm going to do this and I start and then it just, okay. So the first one of these beliefs,
What if I don't agree
it,
with these? Can I tell you?
well, that's why we're having a conversation
Okay.
and you'll agree with me. Anyway, the first one of those beliefs is whatever the change you're looking to make, it has to be a must. It cannot be a should, right? And
Yeah.
the way this guy said it was, you can't should on your life
So can I
because
interject real quick?
oh
Like,
man, go for it. I was hoping you would.
well, I just see this is part of the problem, you guys. I don't. Well, anyways, Like, to me,
No,
it makes
let them know
sense.
what
Like,
part of the problem is.
are you wanting to rattle off all three of these, or can we like pause and talk? Because it seems like if you rattle off all three of those, it's like a lot
No,
of.
no, no. We're pausing and discussing point by point because for all I know, this is going to be a 30-minute discussion on point one, and y'all just have to come back for the next week's episode to get point two. I don't know. We'll see where it
Yeah, I
goes.
mean, should is one of those words that I talk about eliminating words from your vocabulary. Should is one of them.
Right.
And I don't think it should be eliminated. I currently believe there's a time and a place for the word should, kind of.
I
But
get on board with that.
yeah, it overall, it's definitely a word that is not useful to you and what you're wanting to accomplish, because a lot of my female clients, this word comes up a lot. I don't know if you encounter this with your
Oh,
male
yeah.
clients.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the reason that people say should is because it comes down to it. And of course, okay, so just to clarify, if you're like a first time listener, or maybe you're not, but you just need reinforcement or reminding, Justin and I are both, wellness performance coaches who work with, the respective sex. And we help them to become the best version of themselves with their fitness, with their nutrition, with their mindset, just overall life transformation. And I know with the female clients that I work with, they use that word should a lot. I know I should be eating this way.
Right.
I know I should be managing my time better. Fill in the blank. And I really believe that comes from this knowing, we all know that we all know what to do to solve our problem, our struggle, our puzzle. Like 99.9% of the time, whatever boulder we're facing or pebble, we all know what to do to solve it. And so we use the phrasing, I should do this, I should do that, often because we already know
Right.
what the real answer is. But there's a big old problem in using that word should.
What
I will
is
tell
it?
you, but I didn't know if you wanted to interject because I've been talking a
No,
lot.
man. You're on a roll.
I'm
Let it
trying to be
rip.
cognizant of the fact that I can just get on one. You know.
No, we get on one.
Uh the idea of should automatically places you in a position that whatever it is needs to be done, you are doing it for someone else. Like, the reason that I am going to do this is because I know this is what my husband wants me to do. The reason I'm going to do this is I know this is what society says I should be doing. The reason that I have this goal for myself or expectation of myself is because this is what the church says makes a good, graceful female, right? And so anytime you attach someone else's expectation or definition to this thing that you're telling yourself you should be doing, like, you're already like, that creates resistance, right? Because it's like, I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it because I think this is what's expected of me.
Right.
And sometimes it is what you want, and it's also what they want, right? The external
It lines up.
party.
Sure.
But our brain will tell us you're doing this for them. And if you're anything like me, like, I don't like people telling me what to do. Even if what they're telling me to do, I want it to be my idea.
Right. And if
And
you don't
so,
think that causes me all sorts of mental kung fu, you're wrong, gang, because I got to judo her into doing all sorts of things sometimes.
and
No,
on
this
top
was
of
your idea, honey.
the,
Let's go do it.
it's just the reality of the situation currently.
True story.
Um, it also brings up all kinds of feelings, right? Using the word should. I don't know if you can relate, but when I think about when I say like I really should, blah blah blah, there's some guilt I'm feeling or shame around that word. Right?
Well,
It makes
and
me feel like not enoughness, right? I really should go out and swim in the pool with the kids right now instead of working on this document that I need to distribute out to my clients. And so when I make a statement like that, I really should go and do that. For example, I'm subconsciously thinking about an expectation that others have about what makes a good mom, right? A good
Right.
mom spends quality time with her kids, right? A good mom does that. So subconsciously, when I say I really should go out and spend the time in the pool with my kids right now instead of working on this business document, I am subconsciously attaching this expectation that I hear from society that a good mom spends time with her kids. A good mom isn't inside working on a business she's building while her kids are out playing without her. And so, because of that, I then am feeling this guilt or shame because I'm not out there doing the thing that I should. I'm in here doing this business task instead. And so then that impacts how we feel about ourselves. And that
Well,
usually makes us feel shitty.
oh yeah. And I think the other thing, so there's to me there's two other aspects of the word should, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number one is oftentimes you say that and what you're reinforcing to your brain is I know that this is something I should be doing, but I don't want to do it. Right. And so you're reinforcing your brain of like,
Yeah.
because a lot of those things we know we should be doing, but we don't really want to do it. And so it kind of gives us an out. Right. Because
And
it's
just
just,
to clarify what's happening here is we're kind of going through multiple ways this phrase of like I should
right.
can impact you. There are multiple
Oh,
ways. It's not
yeah,
going to
for
always look
sure.
the same. So,
For sure.
yeah.
So there's that. Right.
Yeah.
The other thing to me is it's, it's really passive language. Right. And we've talked about how it's important the way that you communicate with yourself and others,
Mm-hmm.
right? And again, a should is like it's something that, you know, if I've got time, I'll fit it in. If I can find the resources, then I'll do it. Like I should take my wife on a vacation. Well, if everything lines up, we can make that
I think,
happen.
I wonder if I don't know what the like science says, but I'm wondering if it in this way that you're talking about it, I'm wondering if it kind of gives us a little bit of like a dopamine hit because again, something I experience with my clients is I find that when women say that they know the action that they need to be taking or in this case should be taking,
Should,
it kind of gives them a little bit of a dopamine hit because even though you're not actually taking that action because you are able to point out that that's the action, you actually feel like you're a little bit ahead
right,
of the person who doesn't even know. And yes, awareness is key. But what I'm saying is, I think we can get stuck in that place where like we feel some type of way in a positive way when we actually are like, I know that's what I should be doing. Like I'm not
right,
ignorant. Like I know
right,
that that's the action I should be taking. And so we actually get a little bit of like that dopamine hit just by stating that we know this is what we should be doing, but we're not, which is the damaging part.
right. So if you want to have change, you got to change those shoulds into musts, right? Because the things that we must do
Right. There's no option out.
get done, right? And the example this guy used was the gentleman that has a massive heart attack, right? And he wakes up in the hospital and they open heart surgery and stents and blah blah whatever's. And the doctor says, "Listen, homie, you must change your diet or you're not going to make it another 6 months."
Right.
Well,
It's
guess
not a
what?
suggestion.
Right. It's not, the doctor's not going, hey, you should change your diet. He's saying
Right.
you must change
Must
your
change it.
diet or the show's over. Well,
Well, it's
guess
that
what? That dude's going to change his diet
most
because
likely,
it
yes. A high
because it's
percentage
a
of people.
must. Well,
Right.
sure.
And it's kind of like that back against the wall mentality, right?
Right. Right.
It's or as I often like to say, like non-negotiable or like taking quitting off the table, for example. Like when you take away the other options on the table and you just leave yourself with the thing that needs to be done, it is a whole lot more difficult to not do the thing. And when we say I should, like you said, it's like I should do this, but I still have these other options.
Right.
So I won't.
But, right. But when you make it a must,
Right.
that's the show and it's got to be done.
Well, it turns a different switch, right? And if I must get the yard mowed today, to take it out of like this, this, because sometimes people get blocked, is meaning like this. You're talking about health and fitness, and
Sure.
if I say I must get the yard mowed today, like you're going to be figuring out in your schedule like how that's going to happen. It's not a matter of like, can I do this? Will I do it? No, when it's I must mow the yard today, you find a way to make it happen. But too often we're not taking that same stance when it comes to like the shit that really matters in our
Right.
life, like our health.
Right. Or our relationships.
Right.
Like I must come up with some topics for this podcast.
Right.
And I did. Whiz bang. So, number one, you got to turn your shoulds into musts. You cannot should on your life. You got to make the whatever change you want to make.
Yep. Don't shit all
Physical,
over
financial,
yourself.
spiritual, relationships.
It's really messy.
Make them musts. Okay. So, number two is you have to have the belief that you are the one that has to make the change.
Oh yes, speaking my language.
Well, I mean, it's an English podcast, so but if I want to get if I want to improve my health or if I want to improve my finances, I cannot listen to someone else. I cannot watch someone else fix their stuff and think that it's somehow going to impact me. I have to make the change that I want to see in my life. And I have to take ownership for realizing that I have to make that change. And then I have to be the one that makes the change.
Right. We've discussed this a little bit previously, but yeah, ownership is, whew, it's like it's one of the most challenging things and the bravest things I think a person can do. But this is one of kind of like the core tenets of, in my whole mission in helping women become queens of their lives is taking 100% ownership and responsibility for your life. And a lot of people like, what do the cats do? That's what I'm trying to simulate here. Like when cats, like the hair stands up on their back.
Interesting. Go on.
But no, a lot of people are like, ugh. When you say me, take 100% ownership, or did you just pick your nose?
No, I scratched it.
You sound like our son. I wasn't picking my nose. I just scratched.
I wasn't. I went like this.
Anyway.
Scratch the outside right there. See, it's red.
Okay. No, when you talk about taking 100% ownership or responsibility, many people like, ugh, with that for a couple of reasons, because that's scary. Wait a minute, it's scary. And initially I think people think it's illogical, right? Like, wait a minute, take 100% ownership for myself and my life. Not everything is my fault, or not everything is under my control. And that is absolutely true. But one, that's not a powerful perspective to hold, because you're always leaving the door open then that someone else has the part of the puzzle piece, one of the puzzle pieces to what it is you need. So it's a much more powerful perspective to believe and tell yourself, like, I'm 100% responsible for myself in my life. The other part of that is, it's not that you are, when you say I'm going to take 100% ownership of my life, it's not that you're saying that everything is your fault or that everything in your life is controllable. It's not. But it's understanding that the way in which you choose to navigate everything in your life, the way you choose to respond to everything in your life, the way you choose to be proactive with everything in your life, that is all within your control. That is all up to you. So yes, there are certainly external forces at play every single moment of every single day that sometimes we do not have control over that stuff that's happening. But we have control over our body, over our mind. I mean, some people don't, but you can have control over these things. You have control over the choices that you make, over your responses, all of that stuff. And when you decide that's the place that you are going to move throughout your life with, it is a much more powerful and impactful place than one where you're like, ah, yeah, everybody else is responsible for why things are the way they are for me.
Well, and it's just, again, it goes back to that passive or active, right? The same with the must and the should. Because if I'm not fully responsible for this outcome that I want, then that's a passive stance. And if it doesn't happen, like, oh, well, all these other things.
Well, it serves as justification for my lack of action, right?
Right.
Because if I believe that you are somehow responsible for or playing a role in me being able or not being able to lose the weight that I'm wanting to get off, right? If I'm like, you know what, the reason that I struggle so much with losing this weight that I know I need and want to lose is because my husband insists on having us eat out multiple nights a week. Like, if I believe that you are responsible in that way for this struggle that I'm having, then I don't have to actually be taking certain actions because I've already told myself
Right.
it's your fault, not mine. So I don't
Right.
even
You've
have
opened
to,
the, go ahead.
but no, I'm just saying, like, I don't even have to like take the action because I'm already
Right.
blaming it on you.
Right. You've opened the door for a litany of excuses.
Right. Right. And even if I do decide to take action, then I already have an out
Right. I have an out.
when I sabotage or fail or whatever, because see, I told you, like, he's the reason that I can't do this.
Right. My kids, oh, they
It's
keep me from
such
doing these
victim
things.
mentality. It is such victim
Right.
mentality. And again, why do we know this so well? Because like we've lived it, like we've been
Right.
those people.
And we still are those
Can
people
be those
sometimes,
people,
and we have to
right?
keep working through it.
Right. So yeah.
Right. So, point number two, you've got to be the one that takes full, complete ownership to make the change. And so, then the third one, and I think this is quite possibly the biggest stumbling block for a lot of people, is you have to have the belief that it can be changed. Right. Because if you, let's say you want to change your financial situation, but you don't truly believe that it's ever going to change or can change. Like, it doesn't matter if you've nailed the first two. If you don't believe that whatever the thing is can change, if you're so hung up on all of the past experiences that you had that you don't believe this thing can change, nothing else you do is going to work.
Well, you will self-sabotage.
Right. One way or
Like
the other.
you will self-sabotage. And again, the timeline for this looks different for everyone. The triggers for this look different for everyone. But yeah, if you decide this is a must, I have to make this change in my life. Two, it is on me to go get the blueprint, follow the freaking blueprint, and make this change. I must do it. It's on me to go do the things. But all the while that I am then taking these actions to do this thing that I've decided I must do, there's that voice inside of me telling me, like, you're never going to complete this, right?
Right.
Or you're just going to do this for a little while, and then 3 months down the road you're going to get tired of it and you're going to be on to the next thing. And or we're going to this busy season, and once that hits, like it, those voices, as long as those voices are going on in there, then when that thing happens, you will default to what you believed at your core, which was it was never going to happen for you anyway.
Right. And maybe you have made multiple efforts at this particular kind of change and it hasn't worked before, right? But that doesn't mean it's not going to. And so, one of the things that I always um, go back to is the idea that if someone else has done it, then it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
If someone else has eliminated $200,000 in debt and work their way to $1 million in retirement savings or whatever, then it's possible.
One, you got to understand, because playing devil's advocate, Well, obviously, it's possible, period. It's just not possible for me, Justin, right? We like to put ourselves on this little
Right.
island. So we can look at others and be like, obviously it's possible. I've seen them do it. Cool. But then we take ourselves out. Like we like to somehow make ourselves seem like we're so different. But that guy did not have the situation that I have going on at home. So
Right.
I can't, right?
Right.
Or that girl obviously has better genetics than I do. And so I'm not going to be able to achieve that kind of physique. And again, this belief thing is, it's a matter of what beliefs are more serving to you. I talk to my clients about this because sometimes the things that we might believe, it might actually be true. Like you might actually have this evidence, this fact, like you were saying, that every time you've done this in the past, you have
Right.
effed it up at some point, right? That may be absolutely true. But is that a useful thought or belief for you to continue carrying along in order to make things turn out differently this time? No.
Nope.
So the alternative, it's either you keep believing that and you're just spinning your wheels, or you can choose to believe something else. And I this is not really maybe a part of what you were getting at here, but I think we dismiss this. If you can believe that, you can believe this, right? Like if you can choose to believe the thought that is keeping you from achieving your goals, then you also have the power to believe a thought that helps you actually achieve them, right?
Right.
Like we're like, oh, well, I know this to be true, or I believe this, or okay, but if you're choosing to believe that, you can just as easily choose to believe something differently. Like it's just, do I want the light on or do I want the light off? Do I want to use this shaker cup or that shaker cup? Like it seems like it's more complex than that, but it's actually not.
It's really not.
Like I can choose to believe that or I can choose to believe this. Which one serves you best? And often we're not choosing the belief that serves us best. We're choosing the belief that keeps us stuck.
Well, and to go back to your point about, people, well, sure, he could do it or she could do it because of this, that, and the other thing. Here's a sneaky deaky little big nug for you, gang. You are not that unique of a snowflake.
No,
Like we've all got our whatevers,
I say you're
but
not special.
yeah, you're really not. Like you're special to us. We hold you dear, but like you're not some sort of unique one-off situation that has never been seen in the history of mankind.
Well, and to the flip of that, the person that's achieved the thing that you want, they're not that special
Right.
either. And
Right.
that I think is one thing that you and I, who have, we've attended like lots of different workshops and worked with various mentors. And there, I know for me, like there's not one of my mentors who has not said at something, a call, a speaking event, or whatever, there is nothing super duper special about me,
Right.
except that I got to a point where I believed that I could actually do this thing that you're sitting there right now telling yourself you can't.
Right. Two things. Number one, everybody poops. Like that's one of my favorite sayings. Like everybody poops. Like we like to think that, oh man, you know, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, he must not ever poop because he's does all the nope, nope, he poops just like you and I do.
Right.
Probably bigger, but all the same.
The girl you're dating, if you're like like the girl you're dating right now, like she poops too. Even if she never poops when
Right.
she's around you, figures out a
Right.
way. Like she
She poop,
poops
bro.
and she
She
farts
poop.
and
And then the other side is if you're looking at someone and going, oh, well, sure, they achieved that result because they've got X, Y, and Z. The flip side of that is also true, right? That someone has achieved that result that you're looking for that has it much, much worse than you.
mm-hmm.
Like much worse, like so many more obstacles to overcome, and yet they did the thing. So again, you have to believe that whatever change you're looking to implement in your life, it can be changed.
Well, and another one with that is you can choose to look at someone else's success as, oh, they did it, and here's all the reasons why I would not be able to. Or you can look at someone that sells someone else's success and go, holy crap, they were able to do this. Like you could be inspired by it, or
Right.
you can be like pressed down by it. That's a terrible way of explaining it, but you know what I mean? Like you could look at that and be like, oh my gosh, like I would never be able to do that. Or you can be like, holy crap, it is possible. And again, it's just a choice of which way of thinking is more useful to what it is you truly want. And sometimes I find within this process, you actually reveal what you really want as opposed to what you're saying that you want. Sometimes we can be in a place where we're saying we really want to lose the weight, become financially free, have a successful business or whatever. But when you start looking at some of these tough questions and you really begin to give honest answers, you may find it revealed to you that you don't actually want that.
Right.
And that's okay too, because it's just as damaging to be out of alignment in that way, right? Like saying, "Oh yeah, I really want this," but like in your heart of hearts, you don't. And so that's why it's not working out because you don't really want it. One of the questions that I will sometimes pose to my female clients are you committed to this or are you just interested in this?
Right.
Like are you fully committed to this goal and what will be required of you to achieve this goal? Or are you just kind of like interested in the way that like, oh, well, it would be nice if, because there's a difference.
No, there's a big
And
difference.
again, no judgment either direction, but in order for you to not spend your days in this like internal Tasmanian devil tornado, you have to get clear on, do you really want this or not? Because sometimes the reason that you're not making progress towards your goals is because you don't really want that goal or you don't want it anymore. And you have just not realized that, or you're unwilling to come out and say, you know what, this thing that I said I wanted,
Right.
I actually
I don't
don't
really
want it
want.
I don't really want it anymore. And instead you just stay in this place where it's just like you're constantly fighting yourself. And again, like do it or don't, but like don't sit in this middle place and make up all these stories and things and whatever. Like
Well, like the difference between committed and interested is if I'm interested in a girl and she farts, then I'm like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. But I'm committed to you, Ashley. And so when you fart, I giggle, I gag a little sometimes, but I'm here. I'm here for it, you know?
because you're committed.
Right. I'm committed.
Right.
I'm not interested. Of course, I'm interested in you, but I take that next level. I am committed as well.
I mean, I appreciate that. I appreciate that the ring has that level of meaning.
Well, what can I say? So those are the three beliefs. You have to make it a must. It
Wait,
cannot
let
be
me
a
do the recap because
okay,
I'm
okay.
playing Justin DeWeese here and I like wrote
No,
them
took notes
down.
this time. Wow, look at her grow, gang.
So I believe you said that these were the three things that have to be in place in order for you to make true lasting change.
Hit it.
One, you've got to turn your shoulds into musts.
Nailed it.
Two, 100% ownership has to be taken, must be taken.
There you go.
And then number three, you have to have the belief that the thing you want to change, you can actually change. You have to hold that belief in what it is you're working toward.
Boom. What an
Look
excellent
at
little note
me.
taker you are.
It's called growth.
It is. I don't care for that hand gesture, but yes, it's
I like
called
it. It's
growth.
fun because like
It's
I would never
so
do that kind
dumb.
of. Well, you're dumb.
I'm aware. I am aware.
The kids and I have talked about recently, like, come on now. It's fun anytime someone says something like that. You're blah, blah, blah. Just to reply with, no, you
Right.
are.
Or your face is.
Right. It's just funny. Like, it makes you laugh. Like, try it. There's your little, there's your little entertainment tip for today. Like, the next time, like, your kids or your husband or whatever, and they're like, you're so mean. Be like, you're so mean.
Your
Just
face
saying.
is mean.
I don't know. It makes me feel better for the moment.
Well, good. I'm glad. So there you go, gang. A little wellness tip from
The sub
Ashley.
nug. The sub nug.
Ugh. Well, nope, don't ever say that again.
Oh my goodness. Good, quick, short, simple, effective. You go out and implement these 3 things and you will change something in your life.
For sure. If nothing else,
Really.
might change a couple beliefs.
Right. Okay. On that note, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week.
Bye. My screen says I am the host now. We got some sort of powerful thing. But I hope you got some use out of this, gang. Hope you enjoyed the 3 beliefs that you need to have to impact everlasting change your life. As always, because she likes to just not do this part, like, comment, share, tell all your friends about it, share links, send them to YouTube. Be like, you guys, you got to watch this to change your life. You never know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but you got to share it. And I would appreciate it if you share it. So go get it. Have a week.